Hey guys, today we're just running around the junkyard seeing what I can find. Since I'm back in town right now, I've got a lot of parts orders. We're looking for a lot of 4.6 gears, hopefully some tire carriers, maybe some transfer case skid plates, but let's go see what we can find. This is an important one. So this is a 99, look, it's an SE Limited. This thing was literally just an off-road package away from that aluminum tire carrier, but we got an HG46 gear set on this, and it's in good shape. This is a good little Pathfinder. I'm definitely pulling gears out of this. HG46 LSD in the rear. That's about as good as it gets anymore on these. Lucky guessed an HG46 97 R50 with 248,000 miles on it at the time of junking. We've got an immaculate interior that now look at this. It still has the 1997 owner's manual. Look at, what kind of junkyard vehicle still has an owner's manual? The leather in the rear is even better shape. Nice little cargo area and an OEM hitch. This thing is freaking mint. And the gears I pull out of this thing are gonna go to a good home. So let's look at what I'm working on. I'm dropping the front diff here. The drive shaft bolts are giving me so much trouble, I'm just gonna skip them for now and do it once the rest of the diff is dropped, which might be dumb, but we've got CV axles going out first. Always put a screwdriver in the rotor. That's the easiest way to keep the CV axle from not moving while you're yanking on it. So that's my tech tip so far. Let's keep going. Who puts freaking Loctite on their CV axle bolts? CV axle you're doing, I like to rest the socket. I like to use it against the sway bar. And so then everything's static. This holds the CV axle in place. Your ratchet's kind of held in place against the sway bar. You can do it on the driver and the passenger side. And that makes it a lot easier. Since the top bolts of the differential hangers are the hardest to get to, I did each of those first on both sides. I'm gonna go for these lower two bolts where it's the only way to get off drive shaft bolts. I screwed up. So I've got the diff dropped, but that's too hard to work on. So I gotta go over here and bottom out a wrench on through the U-joint. So cool. All right, there it is, finally got it out. This bad boy will just degrease it probably when I get home, but now it's time to go for that rear. So if you're gonna remove the third member on one of these R50s, you gotta start. You have to get 4 17 millimeters on there and that 10 millimeter brake line fitting and those two 10 millimeter parking brake nuts. You have to get those off so you can pull the parking brake line over it. Millimeter wrench on that, and then you can pull it loose. Obviously, if you're going to reinstall it, you just need to loosen it and then pull the axle shaft out. This is your own vehicle that you're reinstalling stuff on. You got to leave it in there and then pull the axle shaft. Reinstalling, this is your personal vehicle. You're going to want to remove this ABS tone ring sensor before you pull the axle shaft. That's per the FSM. From what I remember, so remove that guy too. But for me, I'm just tearing stuff apart. Okay guys, back for more on day 2. It's snowed since I last got here, but we're still working on this drive shaft. Let's try and get it unstuck. All right, boys and girls, we have done what is one of the hardest parts. That drive shaft is no more. Now it's just all these little bolts on the actual housing, and then we'll wedge off the third member and we'll have a full 4.6 swap ready to ship. Oh boy. 14 millimeter socket, we'll do it for all of those, and then I have a hammer so I can hit this when need be. Okay, so now you're going to remove all the lock washers from these nuts. So this is what they look like. You want to remove all these because otherwise they're going to get caught on these threads when you're trying to move the third member out, and it's not all those threads. It's not going to go well. So you got to remove all those as well as the nuts. I wedge it off and it pops right off, it falls, and you get a third member.